In the world of digital assets, there's this epic battle going on. And it's not just about price, it's a battle of ideas. It's a clash between two giants with two totally different visions for our future. On one side, you have the king, the OG, the unchangeable store of value. And on the other, you've got the challenger, a global computer that's designed to do, well, pretty much everything. So yeah, let's dive right into this great debate, Ethereum versus Bitcoin.
Okay, probably the best way to get your head around this whole thing is with a really simple analogy. Think of Bitcoin like a digital Fort Knox. Its one and only job is to be an absolutely impenetrable vault for your assets. It's designed to be a rock. But Ethereum, that's more like a massive, humming global factory. Its purpose isn't just to store things, it's to build things, to create, to run applications for the entire world. So one is all about holding value, and the other is all about creating value.
So, how did we even get here? Well, it all starts with the original king, right? Bitcoin. It's unbelievably powerful, but here's the thing. It was designed to be dumb on purpose. That simplicity, that's its greatest superpower. But that very same simplicity left a huge door open for something new.
And this is where the story gets really interesting. A guy named Vitalik Buterin, the brain behind Ethereum, he wasn't trying to just build a better Bitcoin. No way. He was trying to build on top of the big idea of the blockchain itself. He looked at this incredible decentralized ledger and asked a game-changing question. What if we could actually run code on this thing? What if we could make it programmable?
And boom. That one question. It's the heart of this entire debate. It kicks off this massive fundamental clash of philosophies. It's really the age-old argument, right? Simplicity versus complexity. And which one is going to give us a better, more secure future in the long run?
So what's the secret sauce? What's the magic that turns Ethereum into this so-called world computer? It all comes down to one thing, the smart contract. This is the core innovation. See, instead of some legal document that lawyers argue over, you have a software program that just runs. It executes automatically when the rules are met. No middlemen, no gray areas, just pure, unstoppable code.
Honestly, the vending machine analogy is the perfect way to think about it. A smart contract is just a really, really sophisticated version of that. You put a token in, and an asset or a service or some function pops out, and it's guaranteed by the code. We're talking about an insurance policy that pays out automatically the second your flight is delayed, or the deed to a house transferring hands without a single administrator. It just works. Okay, so if you're a Bitcoin maximalist, and these are the folks who believe Bitcoin is the beginning and the end of it all, their argument is super clear. Every single line of code you add, every new feature is just another place something can break. They argue that Bitcoin's only job is to be the most secure money ever created. So for them, adding all this complexity is like carving a back door into Fort Knox. You're just asking for trouble. But then, the Ethereum visionaries, they just come right back and say, are you kidding me? They argue that a world computer that can only do one thing isn't really a computer at all, is it? For them, the ability to build and program things, that utility, is what gives a network its real, lasting value. Without that, you're just a digital pet rock. So this huge split in how they think, it leads to really different jobs for them in the digital world. This is exactly where that famous digital gold versus digital oil analogy comes from, and it's a fantastic way to see how they might actually end up working together. And to really get how they can both win, you gotta understand something called Metcalfe's law. Basically, the more people who use a network, the more valuable it becomes exponentially. So, as more people adopt Bitcoin as their digital gold, that network gets stronger. But people want to do stuff with their gold, right? They'll need a place to use that value, which is where Ethereum comes in, as the digital oil that powers the whole new economy.
And look, this chart just lays it all out, plain and simple. Bitcoin's primary goal? To be a store of value. It's the gold bar in the vault. It's the internet's reserve currency. But Ethereum's goal is to be the utility layer. It's the credit card in your pocket, the operating system that actually runs all the cool stuff. You really kind of need both.
All right, so both of these giants, they've got some serious threats on the horizon. We're talking existential level stuff, from quantum computers to governments. And how they plan to survive these threats, man, it tells you everything you need to know about what they really are.
Okay, let's talk about the big, scary monster in the room, quantum computers. The fear is that one day some super powerful quantum machine could just crack the whole system wide open. But the experts are calling this a paper tiger. It looks scary, but it's not the apocalypse. Why? Because at the end of the day, it's a software problem, and we already know more or less how to fix it. The The real question isn't if it can be fixed, but how each network chooses to do it.
And how they plan to solve it? It just goes right back to their core DNA. Bitcoin upgrades through these things called BIPs. Think of them as slow, careful, deliberate changes that are tested to death to make sure nothing breaks. Ethereum, though, it evolves through these much more radical hard forks. Basically, the entire community agrees to a massive software overhaul to adapt and innovate. It's stability versus agility, right there.
But you know, there's another war brewing, a brand new one. And this one isn't about code. It's about pure power, electricity. The explosion of AI is creating this insane demand for energy, putting it on a collision course with blockchains that also need a ton of power to stay secure.
And this chart, this shows you an absolutely genius move by Ethereum. For years, both of them used this super energy-hungry system called proof of work. But Ethereum pulled off a massive switch to a new model called proof of stake. Now, instead of being secured by raw computing power, it's secured by people locking up their own coins. And the difference is just staggering.
And the result? I mean, just look at this number. We're talking about a 99% drop in energy use. 99%. In one move, Ethereum basically took itself completely out of this coming energy war. It solved its biggest environmental problem and made room for things like AI. I mean, what a game-changing move.
Okay, so we've looked at their beliefs, their tech, how they plan to survive. So where does that leave us? What's the end game here? Are we headed for a world where only one of them wins? Or can these two totally different paths actually lead to the same place? All right, if you remember nothing else from this, remember these 4 things. 1. Bitcoin is the rock. It's the foundation of trust. 2. Ethereum is the flow. It's the dynamic layer where you put that value to work. 3. Smart contracts are the new law. Code is becoming more reliable than a legal team. And 4. Price is just noise. The real signal to watch is how strong these networks are and how many people are actually using them.
And this is why this whole debate is so damn important. The big, grand vision here is something called the tokenization of everything. Just imagine a world where your house, your car, your stocks, your art, it all exists as a unique digital token on a blockchain like Ethereum. You could trade it, borrow against it, and program it in ways we haven't even dreamed up yet.
So it all comes down to this one final question for our future. As we build this new digital world, is its foundation going to be the simple, unchanging security of the rock, or will it be powered by the endless, adaptable creativity of the flow? Now, the answer is probably going to be both, but the fight over which one is more important, that's going to define the next decade of technology.